Hey there you guys, welcome to Boots and Bunny Homestead. I'm going to do something that's going to be quick and simple, walk you through step by step. This is rendering pork lard. My cousin has some hogs that we do some butchering and stuff with, and he's lovingly enough to save me the leaf fat, which is the fat that is internally and it's closest to the kidneys. And then there's back fat, and the back fat will create lard that's a little more creamy looking, whereas the leaf lard will be white. Also, the leaf lard is something that you can use for pastries and different baking items, cooking items and stuff like that, because it doesn't have a full pork flavor. It's just simply a fat. It is tasteless. The back fat is where you're going to get your pork fat, which is good for your sausages and different things like that that you can blend in. And the lard that you want to be able to cook with. So I'm going to show you how to go through and prep the fat and render it down. We are going to do this in a crock pot. You can do it on the stove. There's several different ways that you can do it. I'm a hands-off kind of girl. If I can get by with doing it and forgetting it for a little while, that's the way I'm going to take it. I normally do it on low for about 6 hours or so, and of course watching it, and I'll show you that a little bit later what we're watching for. Tonight I've only got about 3 maybe 4 hours. I've already got this on high. I've got this one started, so I'm fixing to load up another slow cooker crock pot and walk you through the process of getting it prepared and ready to go. Alright, let's get with it. So as we go through our fat, we want to look to see if there's any meat pieces, any bloody pieces, anything like that, because it will make your lard go rancid faster. And because to store this, you can either keep it in the refrigerator or you can let it self-seal, which I'm going to let it self-seal. And if you follow me on Instagram, you've seen where I've posted a picture on one of the last batches that I did. If you let it self-seal, then if you have any meat or blood in there, it will go rancid faster, which means it'll go bad. And because the meat is not stable enough to self-seal, because with pressure canning meat or sealing, preserving meat, you have to pressure it for up to 90 minutes. With doing the self-seal, there's no pressuring to it. It's just hot and it seals itself. Lard is a stable shelf item that has a long shelf life, and it doesn't require a whole lot of processing. So what we're going to do now is get any hair or meat or blood or anything off of it. This fat's usually really clean, but I'll go through and show you. You can leave it in these big hunks like this if you want to. It's just going to take longer to process. So what I do is I just take scissors and I just cut it. You can use a knife, but let me tell you, you've got to have a really sharp knife to be able to cut through some of the skin and stuff, because even here it doesn't cut too well with some of the skin. So you see anything like that right there. I'm not too terribly picky because I do use it pretty fast, and usually out of one pig I will get quite a bit of fat. Usually I think I'm getting 2 bags of leaf fat, 2 bags of back fat. That will, for every bag I get 4 quarts of lard. That gives you an idea. Let's get this all cut up real quick, processed in here, and then I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done. So we've got the top on this now, And some people will say to put like a quarter of a cup of water in here, or 2 tablespoons, or something like that, just to keep the bottom wet as this melts down so it doesn't burn. But I've never done that. I have seen people that do it. Both are fine, because the water is going to cook away. And as you'll see this cooking down, start to evaporate and steam and collect on top. Whenever I check my fat, and I try to wipe that water off, because I don't want that water in my fat, because it's not going to mix, but I just don't want to have to worry about it later. Okay, so we've got these both. I've got this one and that one over there, both on high. They're going to run at least till bedtime. If they're not done, I'm going to cut them off, let them sit overnight, and then in the morning I'll cut them back on low and just go ahead and let them reheat back up and finish cooking, and then I'll show you what to do next. So I'm taking you step by step. Hang in there with me. So you see here, I've got it all cut up, and it's starting to warm up, and you can start to see the fat to start melting. Kind of like me being in a sauna. My fat sweats. So there you go. We'll watch it. Alright, let's check her out. This is about an hour in. You can see that most of the pieces are a cream colored, light tan. And as I'm stirring, I'm mixing it up. And you start to see some of the pink in there. But you see, we already got grease. Look at there. Alright, gotta let it keep on cooking. This one cooks a little bit slower, so it's got a lot more pink in it. Alright, let's check back later. We are 2.5 hours in. Now this is on high. Scoot it out so I can raise it up. This is on high. And what you're starting to see here is this fat is deep frying, which is making cracklins. So I'm not going to let this cook too terribly much longer. It probably looks really brown on the camera, but it's not actually that brown. But you can see we've got a lot of grease in there. That's a good 3 inches deep. And then these are just floating on top. Alright, let's move to the other one. And this one cooks faster than the other one. So I've really got to watch it. Actually, it doesn't look like it is. Huh. Not tonight. It's going to make a liar out of me. These are just a hair browner than the other one, so it is cooking just a little bit faster. But you've got to watch cooking them on high like this, because you will actually burn your lard and not really realize it. So you have to watch your cracklins here. Let's see, I've still got several white ones, which tells me that it's not to the burn stage. And it's also a good 3 inches deep as well. Alright. This is the 3.5 hour mark. And you can see all the pretty cracklins in there. I've had this one turned off for a little bit, so it's going to cool down. I'm going to scrape all these off, put them on a sheet pan with like some paper towels or something, and get them to drying off. Is the same. These will be crunchy. You can eat them as a snack, or you can cook cornbread, or put them in the freezer to use later for cornbread. Take these cracklins off. Let as much of that grease drain out as I can. You don't want to squeeze the cracklins to get the excess lard out because it will cause part of your lard not to set up. It's, I don't know, it's just another form of fat that's not going to solidify into Crisco type style lard, and it'll just be a liquid sitting on top. Still usable. If you want to do that like towards the end with all of your cracklins in like your last jar and then go ahead and be using that jar, you can do that. Now if these aren't as crispy as you would like for like a snack or something, you can like deep fry them in a pan one more time before you eat them. You can freeze them and do that later, or you can do them fresh. You just don't want to do too much in this grease because this grease is what we're trying to save to use in lard, as lard. So you don't want that deep fried taste in it, or burnt taste. You want it true, true pork lard. Alright, I'm going to finish this up and then I'm going to do the other one. And I'll bring you back in a minute. So here is all of the cracklins that we got out. These are a little more gelatinous than those over there. I don't know if you can tell or not. I'm not touching them, but they just look more jelly than these over here. I think these may have been done just a little bit more. Well, in the crock pot, you can see I still got some leftover bits in there. And in there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cover these up and I'm going to let them sit overnight. And in the morning, I'll come back in here and turn them on low just to melt it all down. Just enough to where I can put them in the jars because it's late and I'm tired. And it can wait till tomorrow. There's not anything going to be wrong with these because, I mean, they're going to be shelf stable for a while anyways. I'm just going to let these sit overnight and I'll strain it with a cheesecloth tomorrow and put them in jars. So I will bring you back then and show you that process of getting them sealed and ready for the pantry. So I've come back in here this morning and put them back on warm. They're starting to melt. And here's the other one. It's a little warmer than the other one. And here's our cracklins from last night. They have like an outside hard shell, and then the inside is kind of soft. Me and Emma tried them last night, and they said it tasted like the fat on bacon. So we will put those up soon, and then I'll bring you back and show you how to jar this up. We've got just regular, like, mayonnaise jars. You do not have to waste your canning jars on this, okay? Because we're not water bathing it, and we're not pressuring it. So we're just using regular old mayonnaise jars that's been washed. I've got a funnel here. Now you can put a strainer on top of this if you want to just do a rough strain. But what I'm going to do is, it's kind of like cheesecloth. But I found this like $1 a yard at Walmart. So I bought a bunch of this, and this is what I'm using as my cheesecloth. Because with cheesecloth, whenever you buy it, you only get 2 sheets of cheesecloth for like $6. I got like 5 yards of this for $1 a yard. So keep your eyes open for stuff like that. So for this, we're going to just put this over our filter. And like I said, if you want to put a strainer under this, you can do that. And then we're just going to ladle this in here and then let it go down to the bottom. These are clean, sterile jars. And this is warm liquid. It's not boiling or hot or anything. So I'm not worried about it busting my jars. You can also use like a measuring cup or something to ladle this in here. But I'm just going to just use my little metal ladle here. Be careful now because this is grease. And if you want, you can put like a rubber band around your filter if you don't want to use a strainer. Just don't let your cloth fall through the funnel. I'm just pouring it right down in the middle. Now once you get through with this, you can save this cloth for only doing this and just hand wash it with soap and water because you don't want to put this in there with your clothes or anything. So save this just for this, or you can throw it away if it's cheap enough. Gotta watch it because I can't see under there. I can feel it warming up, getting close to the top. Feels good in my hands right now because my hands are cold. Alright, we're going to go up to the bottom rim right here, which is your 1-inch headspace. Doesn't really matter about headspace with this. Okay, well that's got that one. And all we're going to do, quickly put that over into another one. And we're going to take our lid and rings. These are both clean. We're just going to put them on here. Make sure, okay, I thought it was a chip in my jar. Make sure there's no chips or jars. If you happen to get any kind of grease or oil around this, or if you think you did, go ahead and wipe it off with a vinegar rag or a soapy rag. And this ring wants to be ornery today. Alright, we're going to put that on there hand tight. And just let it sit there. And it's going to cool down and self-seal. This will be, I mean, it's an unlimited amount of time you can keep this on the shelf. Just watch it for any kind of mold, just in case there's any kind of meat residue. And if you get a batch out and you start smelling that it's going rancid, then you might want to check your other jars. But there's really no way to tell unless you see it until you open it and smell it, that if it's going bad. I've had mine. This is what I opened one this morning. This is about a month old. I opened this morning, and it is one of the leaf lards, so it's a pure white. And it was sealed. I just popped it open and used that this morning. This is what it's going to look like once it cools off. So you can see the difference. Of course, this is melted like you normally see it, and this is room temperature. But that is it, guys. That's all we do. I'm not going to sit here and make you watch me pour this in the jars. I'll come back and show you a picture of the finished product. So thanks for stopping by and helping me to render this lard. It is a little time consuming, but let the crock pot do all the work, and all you've got to do is cut it, stir it, and jar it up. So go out and find you a pig, or you can go to your local butcher, Save-A-Lot, Walmart, anywhere they cut up their own meat. And ask them to save you some of their back fat on their pork. You could even do beef, but I don't know exactly how that would taste. That's going to be more of a tallow than it is a pork lard. So just try it out. You do the same process. And let me know what you think. And let me know what you've done before in the comments if you've ever done this before and how it turned out. So till next time, bye guys. Hey, and one more thing. Like I said earlier, I will clarify. I got 4 quarts out of 1 packed Walmart bag, which after I had to cut it up was 2 crock pots. So I got 4 quarts out of 2 crock pots, which was 1 full Walmart bag, just for reference later. Bye, y'all. Okay, so there is our lard. I got 4 quarts out of this last batch. This down here is back fat. You can see it's a little bit more yellow, and this is leaf lard. It's white. Got them all done. Thanks for stopping by.